Inclusion. Many organizations in Canada are challenged to create an inclusive and equitable work environment, a place where all people feel included and supported. Even employers who are ready to commit to creating an inclusive workplace often aren't sure how to begin. This toolkit and video are a good place to start. Module outcomes. In this video, we will define and explain the importance of inclusion, outline steps for integrating inclusive practices within your workplace, and offer suggestions for how to create an inclusive workplace policy. Canada has a labor shortage. Most organizations, however, are missing a significant opportunity because they are not set up to access or accept a diverse workforce. This is particularly true of workers who are experiencing a disability, people who were, and too often still are, discriminated against because of their diverse abilities. Rationale. Many people who are experiencing a disability need and want to work, feel empowered, and receive equal access to opportunities. They are also often educated and motivated with skills that will benefit many businesses. Employers need to recognize that this underutilized workforce can contribute significantly to their organizations. Working toward full participation is not only socially responsible, but it makes good business sense. According to Deloitte, organizations that embrace inclusion are 2 times more likely to meet or exceed financial targets, 3 times more likely to be high-performing, 6 times more likely to be innovative and agile, and 8 times more likely to achieve better business outcomes. Inclusion refers to an organization's corporate culture. It means providing equal access to opportunities and resources for everyone. In an inclusive workplace, all cultures, ethnicities, races, genders, ages, religions, sexual orientations, languages, and abilities are welcomed and paid equitably. Creating a workplace that welcomes and includes people who are experiencing disability removes stigma and barriers, creates opportunities, fosters a sense of commitment, shapes attitudes and behaviors, and preserves rights. Integrating inclusion into your workforce requires a change in corporate culture. It takes commitment from all levels of the organization. Steps include offering relevant training programs, identifying and removing barriers, and providing safe spaces for everyone. You may also find yourself challenging your colleagues' biases. For example, you may want to provide a space where employees can practice religious ceremonies. You could create culturally sensitive resources and offer a flexible dress code that welcomes cultural clothes. Another important way to integrate inclusion in the workplace is to have an inclusive workplace policy. An inclusive workplace policy sets the tone for all staff. It clearly explains expectations of how they must act and behave. Your policy needs to adhere to relevant legislation, human rights requirements, and your organization's rules for policy creation. When creating your policy, you need to review your current practices, identify any challenges, and state the changes you need to make. When writing your policy, you need to state its purpose, who will be responsible for administering it, and its effective date. Your policy should include a list of actions that you want your employees to take. For example, an inclusive policy may be: this organization cultivates an inclusive and respectful workplace. This includes treating colleagues with dignity and fairness, and maintaining a workplace that is free of harassment, discrimination, and violence. It also means welcoming colleagues with different backgrounds and capabilities. This diversity brings our organization a wealth of experience that builds a better team. After creating your policy, you must communicate it to your company and provide staff training. Summary. Inclusion refers to a workplace culture in which all people are valued and respected. Creating policies, training programs, challenging your colleagues' biases, identifying and removing barriers, and providing safe spaces are ways to work towards workplace inclusion. Creating an inclusive workplace policy requires you to analyze your workplace to determine what is working and what isn't. You need to identify the challenges you face and laws in your jurisdiction. Delegate someone to administer and implement the policy. Are you ready to take the next steps towards creating an inclusive environment?